Soul Land 2 Episode 95. Huo Yuhao caused a massive explosion, resulting in a catastrophic loss of life and one-third of Mingdu being razed to the ground. After this incident, Elder Xian led everyone to escape into the western mountains. By a strange twist of fate, they arrived at the Qiankun Inquiry Valley. The story continues from the previous episode. Huo Yuhao had won the Soul Engineer tournament. Just as he was about to leave, the ground trembled violently. A large swathe of buildings in Mingdu collapsed. Immediately afterwards, the sunken ground erupted at 100 times the speed. A gigantic mushroom cloud rose instantly with terrifying explosive force. Even the deputy sect master of the Holy Spirit cult, thousands of meters in the air, could feel the extreme terror. In the next instant, he plummeted like a falling leaf, crashing onto the ground. At this moment, a rumbling sound came from the distance. The city of tens of millions had already become a hellish landscape. Under the sweep of the violent explosive shockwave, this continent's #1 city had more than one-third of its area destroyed. High temperatures raged, earth and rocks flew, and the earth roared. This kind of explosive power, not even a rank 9 soul guidance shell could achieve. Faced with this sudden apocalyptic explosion, Huo Yuhao, the perpetrator, was stunned. He still wanted to take Ikkaidu to the undead demi-plane to seek refuge, but found that all the nearby alternate dimensions had been torn apart by the explosion. Amidst the flying sand and rocks, Elder Xian finally arrived. He grabbed the two of them, one in each hand, and disappeared in a flash in the direction of the western mountains of Mingdu. Huo Yuhao heard Elder Xian's deep voice in his ear. "Did you do this?" Huo Yuhao subconsciously nodded. Elder Xian said gravely, "This catastrophic loss of life. Huo Yuhao, you must never tell anyone that you did this. After all, the casualties from this explosion would surely be in the tens of thousands." Huo Yuhao's heart trembled, filled with pain and self-blame. At this moment, the Soul Fighting Tournament finals were meaningless. This explosion also completely delayed the Sun-Moon Empire's invasion. In another direction, strange soul tools emerged from the ground. Led by Du Busi, the Star Luo Empire's titled Donghua expert stared at the massive mushroom cloud over Mingdu, completely dumbfounded. The Star Luo Empire's princess asked with a terrified expression, "Was it Shrek Academy?" Wei Na also muttered to himself, "What in the world was that? How could an explosion cause such a scene? How many people died?" Du Busi, with a shocked face, said that if it really was Shrek, then everything he had done was child's play. In the Mingdu Imperial Palace, Juzi carried the ashen-faced Su Tian'an out from the ruins. Evil soul masters quickly ascended into the air. The mysterious national teacher laughed loudly, such immense resentment and soul power. Ha ha ha. Elsewhere, Elder Xian led Shrek and Tang sect members as they sprinted away. According to Huo Yuhao's original plan, he would use timed soul guidance bombs to destroy the tens of thousands of shells they couldn't carry away and blow up the entire underground weapons depot. Because the depot was located 100 meters underground, he calculated the maximum blast radius to be 1 kilometer, causing a large earthquake and also damaging the nearby Mingda Hall, which was very close to the depot. However, Huo Yuhao didn't anticipate that in Mingda Hall's underground warehouse, there were 16 rank 9 soul guidance shells stored. They were awakened by the explosion he triggered. Those 16 rank 9 soul guidance shells, along with the tens of thousands of other shells, caused this enormous disaster. Soon, the group escaped into the western mountains. Elder Xian told everyone to rest where they were. Then he questioned Huo Yuhao and the others about the explosion. Huo Yuhao recounted the whole story. Shen scolded Huo Yuhao for not considering the consequences of his actions. As a continental inspector, he had caused a catastrophic loss of life. Wang Donger and Xiao Xiao quickly explained that Huo Yuhao's intention was to acquire enough rare metals to promote the development of the Tang sect and the academy. No one expected this to happen. Wang Qiuer stepped forward, looked at Elder Xian, and said, "If you must ask who is responsible for this, it shouldn't be Huo Yuhao." She continued, "Huo Yuhao was only a spiritual projection at the time. It was he, Wang Donger, and Xiao Xiao who planted the bombs. Bei also stood up and stated that he was the one who made the decision for the plan. Everyone was prepared to take responsibility and accept punishment. Elder Xian shook his head, calmly scanning everyone. He told Huo Yuhao and the others to rest and then turned to leave. Su Sancher asked in confusion, "What's going on?" He Kaidu rubbed his bald head, saying that there wasn't really anything to begin with. Then he carefully analyzed the situation, an explosion in a sealed space 100 meters underground, but the walls were made of alloy and rock, supported and defended by layers of earth and stone. Hikaitu said, the casualties shouldn't be that high. As Hikaitu predicted, the casualties this time weren't too severe, but the economic losses were immeasurable. Over 30% of Mingdu's buildings were razed to the ground. Su Tianran didn't care about civilian casualties, but the disappearance of the strategic materials warehouse made him extremely distraught. After all, these were the foundation of his war effort. And when Mirror Hongchen learned of the disappearance of the Sun Moon Academy and Mingda Hall, he coughed up blood and fainted. The only reason Mirror Hongchen didn't die of anger on the spot was that his grandson and granddaughter were safe by his side. Just then, an attendant cried out with a sorrowful face, "Your Highness. It's terrible." Su Tian'an immediately roared, "What's terrible?" "It's all because of you bastards' curses." The attendant replied tremblingly, "Your Highness, His Majesty, he has passed away." Upon hearing these words, the anger on Su Tianran's face instantly froze. A flicker of joy flashed in his eyes. He thought to himself, this is the only good news today. The emperor's death meant that he, the crown prince, could ascend the throne. Su Tian'an wailed loudly, "Father, why did you have to leave?" He bit his tongue hard, and 2 streams of tears instantly flowed down. Meanwhile, at the center of the western mountains of the Sun Moon Empire, in a valley more than 10 li wide, several figures arrived at the lake within the valley. They held a young man and woman captive. One of the figures in black said, "Tell me, which one of you is willing to be the sacrifice? Whoever becomes the sacrifice, we will spare the other." The young man roared, "I don't want to die. I don't want to die. Use her as the sacrifice." The young woman looked at her husband, the one who had once sworn eternal love to her, her eyes filled with disbelief. The young woman angrily shouted, "Didn't you say you would protect me with your life? You liar!" The two began to argue fiercely, each wanting the other to die so they could live. Suddenly, a cold light flashed, and both of them died instantly. One of the figures in black said disdainfully, "This place is truly strange. It requires the lives and blood of a man and woman who have betrayed their love to activate it." Another figure in black, Qin Sheng, said, "Less talk. Once this place is activated, even gods won't be able to escape." Soon after, the figures in black drained the couple's blood, quickly threw them into the lake, and then fled as if escaping. A few minutes later, the lake water began to churn. Shimmering gold and silver ripples spread, then diffused outwards at an alarming speed. At the foot of the western mountains, Elder Xian led everyone westward. Things having come to this, they had no other choice. Because of this explosion, the soul fighting tournament had no conclusion. The relationship between the Sun Moon Empire and the 3 kingdoms was bound to become even more tense. Elsewhere, Su Tian'an issued orders to mobilize resources and fully commit to rescue and relief efforts. Anyone caught looting or taking advantage of the chaos would be executed without mercy. He also ordered Defense Minister Zhuan Wen to blame the explosion on the Star Luo Empire and the Heaven Do Empire. Soon after, the mysterious national teacher came to Su Tianran's side. Su Tianran asked with concern, "National teacher, what is the situation?" The mysterious national teacher explained that with so many deaths and injuries, it was greatly beneficial to the Holy Spirit cult's experts. Many had taken the opportunity to achieve breakthroughs. But the only regret was that the Heaven Do, Star Luo, and Body Sect people had escaped. The reason being that they had prepared numerous burrowing soul guidance devices to carry everyone away. Su Tianran's face contorted in fury. "Damn it! I should have known. They raided Mingda Hall before. Those damned groundhogs. Although no one knew who was responsible for the explosion, Su Tianran, based on who benefited most, placed the blame on the Star Luo and Heaven Do empires, thus giving himself a more justifiable reason to wage war in the future. After this incident, Su Tianran could also intensify the public's hatred towards the two empires, continuously increasing troop strength and training, devoting all efforts to producing soul guidance devices, and initiating an arms race in preparation for war. Then Su Tianran asked if the Western Mountains could trap those from Shrek. Hearing this, the mysterious national teacher's heart sank. He said, "That place trapped my grandfather for 100 years. My grandfather's cultivation was no weaker than Longu's." He explained that it was not a place humans could contend with. One mistake would lead to 10 years of imprisonment. His grandfather made 3 mistakes and was trapped for a century. He said, "The chances of coming out alive are less than 1 in 10. Moreover, there are elders guarding the exits of the Western Mountains. Even if they are lucky enough to get out, they will surely die." Only then did Su Tianran nod in satisfaction. Meanwhile, Huo Yuhao and the others realized they were going in circles within the Western Mountains. Elder Xian tried to fly, but was repelled by an unknown force. Even going downwards was impossible. Just as everyone was at a loss, a wave of gold and silver light surged from the shadows like a tide. It instantly enveloped everyone. Elder Xian and the other elders used their light to protect everyone inside. However, they were still pulled along by this force. About 15 minutes later, everything before their eyes suddenly brightened. They had arrived at a lake surrounded by mountains. The lake water shimmered with gold and silver hues. The center of the lake was a circular golden surface. Around it was a crescent silver moon, nestled close beside it. Looking at this unbelievable scene, Huo Yuhao suddenly shouted, "I know. If a voice asks you questions later, no matter what, everyone must tell the truth. Especially about matters of the heart. If you lie, your life will be in danger." Before he could finish speaking, everyone was pulled towards the center of the lake by that mysterious force. Everyone was encased in a shimmering, bubble-like light. For a moment, everyone panicked, but then they calmed down. In the next instant, they, along with the bubbles, entered the lake water. Huo Yuhao recognized this place from his memories. It was recorded in the memoirs of Tang San, the ancestor of the Tang sect. The 3 great treasure troves of the mortal world were all places of both opportunity and danger. And ranked above the ice and fire in Yang Well was the Qiankun Inquiry Valley. Legend had it that it was formed by the tears of the god of love from the divine realm, who, betrayed by her lover, fell to the mortal world in despair. Heaven and earth inverted, sun and moon became a lake. Therefore, the god of love deeply resented those who betrayed love. Once someone fell into the sun and moon lake, it would trigger her wrath, and the questioning would begin. True lovers could not only leave, but also receive benefits, while those who lied and deceived would be punished. Huo Yuhao felt the world spinning around him. Soon, he arrived in a translucent world. The surroundings seemed to be made of crystal, and where they landed was a giant circular platform. Like, follow, and subscribe so you don't miss out. Next episode, the mind-blowing Qiankun Inquiry Valley. Truth or dare? Please give us a like and subscribe, fellow Taoists. Let's continue our chat in the next episode.